Gonna lower mine a little bit here.
What's up?
So I'm gonna lower mine a little bit,
Okay.
just so it's not like in face.
Fair enough.
I say give them until a quarter and then. Yep. I have a cat to feed. It's my day off.
It's your day off. What's wrong with you in for there?
Yeah, because I live over there.
Wait, did you just have your year?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I wish that I would be able to just come here with you, but then I also think that if any situation comes up that they're like, about this RS.
Is exactly it. Livingstone.
Yeah, just like out in the countryside,
Yeah.
but yeah. Nice place. I really like it.
Good. I have to work at Screaming Acres tonight.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I think you told me about that you work as part of the haunted house over there. I have never seen you down there. I am, feel like I'd be able to handle it, but there's also that inner child fear in me that's like, yeah, just carry like,
Yep. That's good.
and what is your character?
It's called Dr. Skin. Basically, I wear a mask that I basically pour all my skin off, so basically it's just like the muscles showing. Yeah, I'm in an operating room with a chest open corpse laying on the table. I know. It's fun. Are you on?
Do you say your name? Like you scream that, or is that how your own headcanon that your name is Dr. Skin?
Well, we advertise it as, and
Oh, okay.
if someone yells, Jesus Christ, I'm like, no, it's Skin. Okay.
It's terrifying. Well, good job.
Thank you. You going?
I do go. Well, before the, when does it end? And on Halloween?
No, we are open this Saturday after Halloween.
I'm gonna have to go. Didn't Haley just go?
I believe she did.
Yeah, she said she didn't see you.
I know Michelle is going tonight. Colton's going tonight.
Yeah, I need to go.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? You got everybody hopefully here that's gonna be here?
That's gonna be here, yeah, and I basically gave
Oh, they're pulling up now.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Just give us a second to set up.
Hey, could you let Eliana know that the press conference is going to be starting in probably about 3 minutes or so? Okay. Bye. Always, always happens.
Never just like one way
Yep. But when you have all your ducks in a row, and someone just comes in and does a cannonball right into the pool. So, yep. Yeah, come on.
It's gonna be another 5 minutes.
Oh, my battery's dying. Come on. Camera. No, it's very much for me. Go there. So, we go through. Yeah. Then after the press conference here, follow me, and I'll get you my exit ticket that I have. So you can have that. The catch is if you go with somebody, they're going to buy a ticket, so we're selling out like crazy.
That's still yours. I'll probably bring Julian with me. We're supposed to do like a fall day where we're supposed to go like Southern Farming.
Okay.
I'll bring Julian.
But make sure to get the ticket because yeah, we're selling.
But yes, I definitely will. That's so fun. We have one like that in here. Oh my goodness.
not going to do that. Absolutely not.
That's awesome.
No, the 4 hours that I'm in haunt is torture enough for me. So. Well, for my character, my character all I need is black around the eye.
Uh-huh.
Because I wear a hat.
So you don't need to worry about the extra stuff.
Yeah. But we have a lot of people that are.
Uh-huh.
I lose it every week. So every Monday I come in and I have a ramp. So.
I went to my alma mater contract there in Chick-fil-A. I just screamed. My kid got come out and I just couldn't do anything. That's fine. But then my kid got on the spot. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is how Jason feels.
Yeah, no, it's
Losing your voice.
it's like the 100, 300 something that comes through like every time. It's like.
I don't have one of those. If you want to just pin lob on to the end. But,
You'd like that one.
That's okay. Last week we wait 5 minutes for you to get one.
Yeah. Few things to say about that rice that I'm I mean, you guys care if you just hold the mic to the side?
Yeah, it's fine, absolutely. And you can put the lob on there if you want.
yeah, honestly, if you want to, seriously, it's
And
fun.
have our mic cube, the only one not represented.
Oh, I see. So now you're in the marketing department.
That's right.
Ah, okay.
It's gonna be how I get to the top of the photog game. Let's
I'm going to scoot a touch closer then so that we can get her.
I'll make sure she's off the side. I thought you guys had the candelabras or whatever.
The what?
The thing where you have 10 and 1.
Oh, the multi
Yeah.
thing?
Oh, no.
No, I don't. I just have the Audrey Cedar Memorial
Is that
mic
just
stand,
Ryan?
so.
Yeah, that's just Ryan because he has been here long
Yeah.
enough. He just steals things. I mean, appropriate, so
Well, you have to get something to be able to steal it. We don't have any of those.
that's true.
Yeah, we should still be up from when I was speaking before.
You got everybody here that we know is coming?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just stand off to the side and hold it.
Okay. Everybody get ready?
Yep.
Okay, for those that don't know me, I'm Glenn Linsmeyer, Fire Chief here at Oregon Area Fire and EMS District that contracts with the Village of Oregon. So I'm the Fire and EMS Protection to the Village of Oregon. I've got with me today some of our contributing partners, emergency responders. I got our Police Chief and also our Emergency Management Director, Chief Jen Pickenkoff. I also have Steve Miller, that's part of the Alliant Energy Group. And also, and I forgot the young lady's name on the end already.
Bridget Aldridge.
Bridget, there we go, from Alliant Energy. So we'll take some questions and all that kind of stuff, some follow-up and that kind of thing. We can give you some highlight things and all that. I'm assuming already I've seen some cameras different places throughout the emergency scene today, doing some penetration. You got some films and some footage and all that, so that's great, all that kind of thing. Here nor there is what we can tell you is kind of how Oregon was notified and what brought us to the scene and what we know so far. So basically this morning, about around the 8:30-ish area, we received some radio traffic on our local government channel. Basically, in the Village of Oregon from our Public Works that some Public Works folks were out and basically heard an explosion in the area, and they believed it was in that Oregon Parks Avenue. There was no 911 calls at that particular time. The Oregon PD and some Oregon fire units was basically assembling at that time to try to get up there. Shortly thereafter, we did get 911 reports that we did have a explosion in that 800 block of Oregon Parks Avenue, unsure of what was going on and all that kind of stuff. The early crews got there. We had some fire basically in one of the buildings. We got about 3 buildings that are concerned up there. One that we believe there was some gas of some nature that's pretty much total lost, blown up, gone, distributed over a number of probably lots up in that area. That particular building is totally gone. An adjacent building to the east of that was on fire. The suppression crews started making suppression between the Oregon Fire Department and the Oregon Police Department. Of course, our first and foremost objective is to life safety and taking care of folks that are on the street and in the immediate area. So between those 2 agencies, we started to capture those people on our road, take them to a safe location, and trying to assess the situation, while at the same time trying to diminish, put down, out any structure fire, or trying to get that knocked down to a point that we can control that. All that stuff takes time. Of course, we went to a box alarm, bringing our mutual aid partners in from quite a big distance. We went to a 3rd alarm, bringing in folks to be able to add to our fire and EMS protection. Here nor there, the good news out of this is the things that the highlights of this, the things that we look at immediately, is that building that totally blew up. And is basically dismantled and gone. Was under construction. That was a duplex that we can tell. We are unsure of what happened with that. That's why we have Alliant and other partners with us. We're working through that. Here nor there, at this point, we have no one that was in any structures that we are aware of at this point. We've penetrated and got into where we can on a safe means in doing so. So we don't believe there's anyone in any of those structures that have blown up. We have reports that we've taken out some cats and or dogs for some houses to the east of us that in the early stages of this incident, and have got those people extracted. Right now, the biggest things between our Alliant partners and the rest of our fire and safety units up there, we know that the area is stabilized. The gas is under control for the largest a big period of time. We basically shut off, pinched off on both ends the gas lines, making sure that we have no gas in that area, and then I worked backward from the outside, going back to the point of origin, making sure that everyone was safe and that kind of thing. As all of that stuff happened and the electricity got shut off, then we go back in and we start doing more suppression on the fires, where we can put people in, do some penetration, stick some aerials up or some sticks, and make all those suppressions and all that kind of stuff. So the good news is that, again, it's safe for the community. We're letting people back in already on the north side of the street. We'll be opening up the south side, and Alliant, maybe you want to talk about how the steps that they're going through on the relights and bringing people in different areas and that kind of thing. So from a fire and EMS perspective, it went very well. We had a lot of resources in a short period of time, and it's a successful outcome. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to the Police Chief, Jen Pegenkoff, here to talk from emergency management standpoint, and also from her position here as Police Chief in the Village of Oregon. Chief.
Sure, thank you. Our role in this was to evacuate and assist, obviously, fire wherever we needed to. Both the fire chief and I want to thank our community for stepping up. They were able to help us find facilities very quickly to evacuate people too that were within close proximity to the explosion. The church behind us was one of those locations, and also a huge thank you to the school district for helping bus some children out of the area that were at a local daycare. I believe the evacuation couldn't have gone any better, and that really came down to our local partners in our community.
Alliant, anything would you like to say?
We appreciate the partnership with the emergency responders. Again, we're working closely with them to make sure everybody is safe, and we've got the system under control. And as the chief said, we'll be working on getting people back into their homes and restoring any gas that was interrupted to the neighboring homes. That is all. Thank you.
what I can tell you is what this is going to look like this afternoon, probably for the remainder, the duration of the day. You're going to probably see fire and a gamut of folks. When I say a gamut of folks, I'm talking about my ATF partners. I'm talking about the Dane County Sheriff's Department. I'm talking about the Village of Oregon Police Department, the Oregon Fire Department investigators, a whole team of folks trying to put the pieces and parts back together and trying to figure out what happened up there. What will probably happen, and again, I'm just assuming at this point, depending what that team tells me, you'll probably see us doing some, maybe some fencing around those structures, those 3 structures that are involved, because it is a incident, a crime incident at this point. We don't know, so we want to make sure we keep people out, and then we'll secure that. So this afternoon, I would just recommend people to stay out of that area, stay on CC. Everything else, I think the PD and the police department's got pretty well shut off and locked off, so you can't get up there, that kind of thing. But again, from the larger perspective, teams came together very well, very fast. We've mitigated everything. No loss of life, no injury to all our responders. And from the fire perspective alone, I probably had 60 to 70 some folks there on the fire side. The law enforcement side, do you go to Catmar car? So you probably had 30 or more?
We had, I would say, 4 to 5 other agencies assisting.
Yeah. So we had a lot of folks, a lot of people came together. You know, over the years, we've learned from other incidents. We bring people together. We manage this stuff. We do tabletops to make these incidents and successful outcomes. And today, so far, it's been, knock on wood, a successful outcome of dealing with what happened. So I take any questions, or our team would take any questions.
Since the building was under construction, was gas going to the building?
So I can tell you what I know, and again, these are preliminary reports. We have to verify double and triple, and we have to all of that kind of stuff. So the preliminary reports that I have been told, again, not 100% sure on all the above, but from what our understanding is, gas was brought into that particular structure probably around 2-3 weeks ago. And it was brought in by a contractor, that kind of thing, and it was confirmed that that structure had gas.
And just confirm, all humans are obviously are safe, but all pets are accounted for and everything?
In that building that was under construction, there was no pets or no animals and no life, no occupancy to that building. So from our perspective, from the construction company, the subcontractors and everything else, there's supposed to be no one there today. The reports that we have was that building was totally closed up. There were some people working to the west of that, but for the foremost of everything, we got a house that's totally enclosed. Windows, so it's got some siding on it, got drywall, that kind of thing. It sounds like the furnace was hooked up a few weeks ago by a local contractor. We will be working with all those contractors, I should say my team, our investigators, be working with all those folks, checking all that kind of thing, working with the local building inspector, and our folks accordingly to make sure that we can put all these time frames together to be able to come back and tell everyone at some point what happened up there, basically.
But to follow up on what he asked of the house that caught fire, were all the pets out? Were they safe?
So that particular house there, as Chief Pegenkoff, why don't you go ahead, Chief, and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when emergency responders arrived on scene, a dog was removed from the residence that had caught fire, but thankfully that dog has been reunited with its family and is healthy.
So pets are out that we know of, and all good. So. And those buildings have been checked for occupancy, and from the reports that I've heard, everything was empty. So, which is good reports.
I want to ask, you mentioned that the gas and electricity was shut off basically on both sides of this building. How far out?
So how far out? Basically, in a nutshell, Oregon Parks on the south side of the road, basically from intersection from they go Bergamont down to Alpine. Pretty much everything on the south side of the road at one point, and probably still, we had both gas and electric shut off. The only thing that was probably left on was our daycare down here in the corner and our food pantry.
And neither of those have been turned back on as of yet, but you do have plans for the electricity?
Yes, we will be working with Alliant, the homeowners, and letting people get back and reunited with their homes and their structures this afternoon and all that kind of stuff. And Alliant has a very thorough re-entry for gas and for electric that will be looked at and all that kind of stuff. But right now, everything appears that what our team is telling me so far, everything appears that this explosion is probably high and out of the ground, so it wasn't dissipating through the actual ground and that kind of stuff, it probably was higher just in some of the preliminary reports that we looked at today.
Do you have any reason to believe that there might be any foul play involved? Earlier there was a robbery on the same block that police are still kind of looking for
Yep.
a suspect.
So I'm going to let the police chief take that one. As far as the fire is concerned, I have no beliefs that that is the case, but as part of our due diligence in looking at this whole incident, all of those things will be looked at, and the police chief can talk much more intelligent on that than fire chief.
So to directly answer that question, at this time we have no information to connect the two. So we do not believe they're connected at this point.
So, Chief, how stressful is it that you had an ERT situation yesterday, you have this today, literally on the same street? I guess how stressful is it to the department, to the community? I mean, I live here; it's a pretty peaceful community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have definitely focused a lot of additional resources in the area, and we will continue to do so. We have asked for the community's help in locating this individual we were looking for yesterday. Yesterday we were able to determine he was not in that location, but we know that now that this has happened, even if it's not connected, it certainly makes people concerned. So we're going to let them know we're in the area, and they're going to see us more.
The third structure that was mentioned, was there any damage to that one? I don't remember if you touched on it.
The third structure, which we again to the east, and this is probably in the 836 category as far as address wise, and don't quote me totally on that, but it's like the third structure to the east up there. More physical damage to the outside, that kind of stuff. Again, our crews force doors, go in, make sure people are not in, make sure things are addressed, make sure the explosive limits are low, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure that we protect the house and all that kind of stuff. That house should be habitable theoretically tonight. So.
Are you looking at any kind of damage to nearby structures? I know a few neighbors mentioned that.
Preliminary, we've had a lot of reports, and I think police department done. A lot of people have been shook up. Like you said, this is a very peaceful, laid back, quiet community. This explosion really shook a lot of people. Really put a lot of people, at alert, because it's just something that doesn't happen in the village of Oregon in this peaceful community. It's just one of those things. We've had reports, but not confirmed yet, that we've had some glass broken out of some businesses, different places, and that kind of stuff further to the east. We have not looked into that or that kind of stuff. I'm assuming the general public will be letting us know as we go forward and that kind of stuff, or just let the police department or the fire department know if people hear us and you got some damage someplace to the east that we can we investigate and put it part of this incident. But that's about the extent of it. Most of it is very local right there that we know of and that kind of thing, and we'll see what happens as time goes on and people come back home.
We're seeing photos and videos come in of the scene, but I mean, describe when your crews responded. What did it look like, and have you ever seen anything like this in your career?
I have. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, since 1984, so I've been fire chief in numerous communities in different places. So yes, how could I describe this? I was one of the early responders. The chief was with me. Like I tell people, I never personally served in the military, and I thank all of our military brothers and sisters for doing what they do and all that kind of stuff. But there again, when you come into a community that you know is under construction and things are organized and all that kind of stuff, you just look at an explosion field and you're looking at sheets of plywood, you're looking at shingles, you're looking at all of the components that go through a house and are laying in a street, and you need a contractor with a bobcat or some equipment to move stuff so you can get in with your emergency equipment and set up on the front to do fire suppression beforehand. It's just very chaotic. And again, we have a lot of young men and women in our fire and EMS department and that kind of stuff. This is new for those folks. You plan for that, you talk about it, we do tabletops, we do all that kind of stuff. But it is not like the real life experience of walking into something like that or dealing with that and all the aftermath of running an incident and being part of that for the next hours or days or however it falls out. So it's good learning experience for everyone. We'll always learn. We take notes away from this, all of our emergency partners and responders and all that kind of thing, and we become better for the next. And we share it with our neighbors. If you look at it today, again, we're as deep as Sun Prairie that I know of, and Edgerton and a bunch of other folks on our cards, but we pre-planned this stuff on our Mavis box alarm cards, and again, that is building these, so many engines, so many ambulances, and so many responders and chief officers to manage this stuff when and if something happens, and today was one of those incidents.
Do you have a number yet? I don't know if you might know this exact number yet of how many different agencies responded.
I do not, but I will get all that for you in the days and times ahead, and I'll share it on a press release to everyone. It's a large number.
for the Alliant Energy people, people are obviously going to be, whoever sees this are going to be extra careful, so to say, with their hot water heaters, with their natural gas heaters. What should they be looking for to, I guess, keep themselves safe?
Alliant Energy.
Can you step to the mic, sir? Thank you.
So I would say that Alliant Energy, we install mercaptan in our gas main that smells. So if you smell something, call 911, call Alliant Energy right away. That's your biggest safeguard. If something doesn't seem right, get out of your house, make a phone call from a safe distance or remote location. We'll send crews out to investigate and deem the scene safe.
How are you going to approach kind of the investigation looking into what happened?
So we'll just go back to our work practices. We have procedures in place that we'll follow to do our investigation. Like the chief said, we'll basically verify that there were no leaks, that all the equipment that was used during the installation of gas mains were all calibrated and done properly. So
there's a lot of things that people do not realize that happens in new construction going in. So you've got contractors bringing in the actual distributing lines going from the supply. Alliant Energy is our partner that basically provides this the source of energy to the village of Oregon for gas and electric. So they're concerned on their end of making sure that their equipment, their valves, and all of those safety procedures are taken care of. All of there's things built in line that basically when a gas meter gets taken out, when the system doesn't recognize that use of gas, it shuts down. And it appeared that all of those systems work today, because otherwise we would have had a lot worse situation up there at hand. So now it's all about once that meter is set at that house, what happens after that meter and how it's distributed through the house and all of the different lines and all of the different contractors and all of the different folks that are part of that. I mean, there's just a lot of different variables. In construction, and you go back to my tenure in the fire service, I have seen meters on the outside of the houses being basically ignited from contractors and different things. I've seen gas blowing different places where people shoot a screw through a wall. And again, this house is not occupied. The windows and doors are closed, and things can build up. So there's just a lot of things that our investigating team that have to go through all this kind of stuff and make sure all these boxes are checked, I's dotted, T's crossed, and find out what's really happening in there for the last days and weeks. Because sometimes it takes a long time. We'll get calls different places. We've had successful outcomes on the south side of the village of Oregon where we've had the ground bubbling up and we've noticed natural gas coming through the ground. And the Alliant team and the fire department and the police department, we all recognize that, and we've mitigated that, and we shut the stuff off. And the next day, the teams come out, dig up the lines, and find that it was new construction and something got scraped on a main line days and weeks, and even months ago before it actually broke or started to come up. So I don't believe that necessarily is the case, but there again, we got a team of investigators to work on all of that to see what's going on and look at what happened. So it's just time. It just takes time. People want answers all the time, but the biggest thing that I can tell you over the 35 years of doing this since '84 is give us some time. And sometimes it takes us a couple weeks, might even be longer. We'll keep you updated on all the whereabouts and all that kind of stuff. We'll get you these other information as far as the resources and all the partners that came here today and the investigation as we go along. We'll keep you in the loop.
And Chief, just to reiterate and clarify, there's currently no danger to neighbors in the area, is that right?
No danger to any neighbors in the area. All of those things have been eliminated quite some time ago. Again, the re-entry on the north side of Oregon Parks has already started. We'll be working on the south side. And again, you're going to see a police fire units out there, and presence is what I'm trying to say in the neighborhood, probably until at least dark tonight. And we'll go from there. But yeah, that's where we are. No dangers in the area. No dangers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for waiting.